Hello people, what's happening? It's about Dollar Graphics. Thank you so much for coming back if you are out here. And if you are new here, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so as to notify when next I drop a video. So this is actually the episode 3 of the ongoing class, that is the Corel course tutorial that is ongoing right now. So in this video I'm gonna walk you through throughout the toolbar that I have at the left over here like this. So the last class I explained what the menu bar is, and I explained every single one of them, starting from the file, extend that, and starting from the file down to this help. So in this particular video I'm gonna walk you through out the toolbar. Okay, so if you are yet to watch that video, please, I would like you to go watch it so you will be able to follow up with this course. Okay, yeah, so without further ado, let me just dive into our toolbar. Okay, so over here I have my pick tool over here. The first tool that I have over here on my toolbars is this is actually my toolbars. So the first thing that I have over here is called the pick tool. Okay, it is called the pick tool. Let me draw something over here so that I could show you what that is used for. Okay, so if I have like an object here, let me duplicate it. So if I have an object here and I want to move it around, like reposition it, I don't want it in one position, I want to reposition it. So that is where the work of pick tool will come in. Okay, so I can just practically move it around. You see, I can just like swap the position, bring it this one to this one with the work of the pick tool. Okay, so that is what the pick tool is basically for. You can just move some stuff around your Corel draw any way that you want it. You can use it to increase, you can use it to decrease, you can use it to increase, you can use it to deform. Any way that you want to, anything that you want to do, you can use the pick tool to do it. Okay, you can use it to transform, you can use it to reduce, increase, like just use it to basically move things around you, increase, decrease. That is what the pick tool is meant for. Okay, yeah, that is your first tool over here. Okay, so on that, if you take a look at it properly, there's drop down arrow underneath it. Okay, if you click on the drop down arrow, you are going to have another options, like under options underneath them. So here I already explained that this pick tool is basically meant for like moving tools around, like moving an object around, anything you want to reposition, you want to decrease, you want to decrease, you want to transform. Yeah, you can just basically use the pick tool for it. Okay, so the next one we're having here is freehand pick. Yeah, freehand pick. So what that does is, like, let's say we have multiple, let's say just two stuff like this over here. So we can basically use the freehand pick to select multiple stuff. Okay, though I don't normally use it, but that is what the freehand pick is mainly for. You can use it to select multiple stuff on your project or your workspace. Okay, so that is what that is basically meant for. Okay, yeah, over here I have my shape tool. Like I said in the last class, I said any tool that I don't use, that I don't find useful, or I don't know the uses yet, I won't explain them. Okay, so even me myself, I'm still struggling to know some stuff, but at least I'm trying my best, or my possible best, to make things possible. Okay, in Corel. So just follow along. So the next tool we are having here over here is the shape tool. If I click on it right now and I select my project, you can see this black spot all over the angles. Okay, yeah, so that is to tell you that the shape tool is actually selected and activated. So okay, so let's say I want to transform this thing, this box that I have over here. I cannot transform it like, okay, let me say I want to transform it like I want to cut the edges. Okay, I can just drag it from this side. You see, drag it from this side. Okay, and drag it to this side. Okay, so if I want to take it back, I will take it back, and if I want to close it up, I'll close it up. Okay, can just use it to adjust stuff. Okay, so you can just take it back anyhow that you want it. So if you take a look at the property bar over here, don't worry, I'll come to this property bar. So okay, if you take a look at the property bar over here, I have 3 options over here like this one that says round corner, and this one that says scallop center corner, and this one that says chamfered. I don't know how it is pronounced, but this is the last one. So this is the one that we used earlier. Let me use it again. So if I try to drag it this way, this one is basically used for to sharpen the edges of the the element or the object. So if you take a look at this one, it's also the just vice versa. This one is inside while the other one is outside. Okay, so if you take it inside, that is what the second one here is meant for. Okay, and the third one here is meant for this like narrow edges. Okay, narrow edges. Yeah, that is what the shape tool is basically meant for. So I still have something underneath them. So like I said, I already said anything that I don't know how to use yet, I wouldn't use them. But I think this one is basically meant for smoothing of edges of stuff. Like if something is not smooth, you can just basically use this smooth stuff to smoothen them. Okay, yeah. So down here we have crop tool. So let's say I want to crop something like I want to crop out something from this side. So I can just use basically select my crop tool over here, my toolbox. Okay, then draw it like this. When you are satisfied with the angles, you can just release it. So you come over to this place, that these two options, one says clear and the other one says crop. So I'm going to simply select the crop option. Boom, and here we have it. All the other stuff are all gone. Okay, so that is what the crop tool is basically meant for. Okay, yeah. So over here I have, okay, let me see the stuff we have underneath them. Okay, the second stuff that we have under the crop tool is this knife. So let me say I want to divide this element, this triangle, I want to cut it into two pieces. Okay, I can basically use the knife tool to do that. Okay, I just click on this side of this side that I want to start cutting it from, then drag it and extend it to where you want to end it. Okay, so when you are done doing that, you can just drag it this way and you have this one aside, you also have this one aside. So that is what the knife tool is basically meant for. Okay, to cut one pieces into two stuff. Okay, yeah, that is what the knife tool is basically meant for, to cut one element into two pieces or an object. Okay, so I still have something underneath them. I don't know what this is meant for yet, and it says visual segment delete. I think it is the edges of stuff. Well, let's dive into this eraser. Let's say we don't want something on your this box over here, so you want to just erase them. You can just basically do that like that with the use of the erase tool. Okay, you see it is erasing. So I think you understand that one without me going further, that it is basically meant for erasing stuff. Okay, so the next tools we have in here is the zoom tool. Okay, so let's say you want to zoom in, you have to right click, left click and drag to where you want to highlight it from, there release it. Then if you want to zoom it out, then you right click, then drag to zoom out. Okay, left click and drag to zoom in, then right click to zoom out. Okay, that is what the zoom tool is mainly used for. Okay, so that take us to the next tools. Okay, over here I have freehand tool, I have 3-point line, I have bezier tool, I have pen tool, I have this pin. Okay, let me just draw it so that you'll be able to see this freehand tool. This is freehand tool. Okay, like you can just basically draw stuff like you see. I just basically draw stuff like with the use of the freehand tool. Okay, yeah, that is what the freehand tool is basically meant for, to draw stuff. Let's say you want to trace something, or if you want to draw something. I even use them for handwriting. Okay, maybe I have people who use them for handwriting. Okay, so this 2-point line, let me draw. You can see it will look like an arrow shape. Okay, you can basically okay, so this is I'll now explain this 2-point line like this from one point to another. Okay, if I drag it this way, we have 2 points. Okay, if I drag it this way, we have 2 points. From this side, that extend it to this side is 2 points. Okay, so let's see what we have underneath them. Our bezier tool, you can basically use it to crop out an image background. Okay, yeah, you can basically use them to crop out an image background. Okay, yeah, I normally use it at times if I don't use the pen tool. So that the next tool we are having here is pen tool. So you can as well use the pen tool to crop out an image background. Okay, yeah, you can use it to crop out an image background. And if you want to learn how to use it properly, I have a video that I'll be dropping soon concerning concerning the pen tool. If you want to know how to use the pen tool to crop out an image background, I have a video that I basically talked about it, and a well explained video. Okay, so I'll delete that. What are we having underneath it? We have B spline. Okay, let me see that. Okay, I just basically use it to draw stuff like okay, this is an like egg shape. Okay, I just basically use it to draw stuff like that. Can transform it to the way you want it. Okay, yeah. So the next one we're having here is polyline. Okay, you can just do it. Okay, this is for drawing too, I guess. So yeah, so you can just end it anytime you want. You can just can't fill it with color because it's not I didn't end it well. Okay, the next two we are having here is 3-point curve. 3-point curve. Okay, like this. If I drag it this way and extend it to this side, you see I will drag and stop at this side, then draw it backward like this. Okay, I seen that. So you can just basically walk around it. So even as a Corel user is not all tools like you mostly make use of. Okay, yeah, even me, I'm yet to find out some the uses of some tools in Corel. Okay, yeah, so I'm just trying to explain what the interface looks like and the use of the tools. Okay, not every tool that I know how to use. Okay, I'm just trying to put things in order for like people who are starting up the graphics skills. Okay, graphics design. Okay, the graphics design himself. So the next we are going to be explaining is this one that I have over here. We have artistic media. Okay, if I select that, is that this is mainly for artist people like brush. Like if you want to do tone, like want to convert picture to vector, yeah, you can basically use this one to do that. Okay, yeah, so you have different type of brushes over here. You can select one you want. Yeah, we have so many of them over here, so you can just choose anyone that you felt is okay for you. Okay, so and we have the properties over here. So the next thing I'm going to be explaining, of course, is this box and this triangle, rectangle tool. Okay, rectangle tool, that is the box. You see, if I hold down control, I'm going to get a perfect square. But if I take off my hand of the control, it's going to give me, I'm going to be able to customize it to any size that I want. But if I hold on control, it's going to give me a perfect square. Okay, so just note that if you hold on control and draw a rectangle, it's going to give you a perfect square. So let me highlight it and delete it. So the same thing applies to this ellipse tool. Okay, let me click on this drop down arrow. Let me see the other options that we have. Okay, you have 3-point rectangle. That is 3-point rectangle like this. I can basically draw it like this. Let's see, if you want it this way, if you want it narrow, you can just do it like this. You see, yeah, this is what the 3-point rectangle is. Okay, that takes us to ellipse tool right here. Okay, what the ellipse tool is meant for, just mainly for cycle. You see, if you want it to cut off at the middle, you can do that in your property bar over here. So you can do that like this again. If you if you want it with the fill, of course you have to close the edges. That is this one. So if you don't want it to fill, you want only the outline, of course you have to choose this one. Okay, you are not seeing the side of it. So if you want it full, you select this one. Okay, yeah, and if you hold down control, it's going to give you a perfect circle. But if let me say you don't hold, I didn't hold down the control key, so you can see I'll be able to tweak it the way I want, any shape that I want. Let's say I wanted this one, or I want it like this, but if I hold down control, I'm going to get a perfect circle. Okay, are you seeing it? Are you getting it? Okay, can you see that I'm getting a perfect circle? If I take off my hand off the control key, you see that I will not be able to get a perfect circle. Okay, just make sure if you want to get a perfect square, you are holding down the control key. Okay, and we have 3 point ellipse. Okay, see that? Just same thing as I explained the 3 point rectangle. Same thing applies to this 3 point ellipse. Okay, yeah, the next tool we have here is the polygon tool. So what the polygon tool, this is how the polygon tool looks like. Okay, you can adjust it the way you want it, and say you want 4, you can increase it from this side, increase it. Okay, let's say I have 5, I have 6, I have 7, I have 8. You can basically increase it in this side. Okay, yeah, so let's say I want 4, you can decrease it in this side and say 4. Okay, this is what we're having right now. So if I click on the drop down arrow, I have other options. Over here. Okay, I have star, I have spiral, and I have common shapes, I have impact tool, and I have graph paper. So let's start with the star. So if I draw my star over here like this, so it's basically on like polygon tool. If I want to convert it to star, okay, I'll head over to my property bar over here. Like I told you already that this place is called our property bar. Okay, any element that you selected is going to pop you with its own property over here in your property bar. Okay, yeah. So if let me show you something. If I select this one, of course the property of this one is gone, and we are left with the property of this one because this is the only one that is selected. Okay, if I say I want 5, you can see the property has changed to, like, I just changed its own property to 5. Okay, yeah. So if I want it 4, I'll basically reduce it to 4. But if I select this one, it has its own property. Okay, as you can see, it's no longer the way it used to be on this one again. Okay, so let's say I want to change it to star. Of course, I'll just increase it from this side. Okay, I want it is 5. Then I can basically like increase this side, the angles, so as to give me the star shape. Okay, yeah, are you seeing it like that? So that is what the property bar is mainly for, to adjust something that you selected. Okay, yeah. So the next tool we are going to be looking at is this spiral stuff. Just like this stuff, you can use it to create 3D at times, like this coiling stuff, like in Corel. Okay, yeah. So the next tool we are having here is common shapes. Like this common shape is comprises of many shapes. You can basically select many shape on it. Okay, once I draw the shape like this, if you come to your property bar, you see this rectangle like this. That is the recent one that you just drew. Okay, this is it on here at the property bar. So if you click on it, like on the click of the drop down arrow, you are going to have multiple options of them. Like you'll be able to choose anyone that you want to draw. Again, you see, you can just basically draw so many of them on your property bar. Let's say I want this one, I'll draw it like this. Okay, I want this one, I'll draw it. Let me change it again. Just make anything that you selected, any element you selected is going to pop with its own property on your property bar. Okay, just take note of that. Let's say I want love, just change it to love. You see, so that is what the common shapes is meant for. We have a lot of shapes in there. Okay, so once you select it, you come to your property bar and select the shape you want to draw. Then you can just choose it, then go ahead and draw whatever you want to draw. So this impact tool is like a kind of, let me see, is it this like this how do I put it? I don't really know how to explain it. Just like let me say fountain feel like 3D story, not 3D. like this elliptical fountain stuff, like just like at the gradient, but this one is not gradient, it's actually this line stuff. Okay, I don't actually know how to explain it, but this is what the stuff looks like. Okay, this impact 2. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Yeah, let me delete it. And underneath it we have graph 2. Okay, like graph paper, so that has boxes, a lot of boxes. Yeah, this is what the graph looks like, and you basically use it to create stuff like graph. Yeah, so if let's say you want to increase the number of column that we have, you can come to your property bar. Like this is your property bar, then locate where the tools are, like the adjustment stuff layers are. You can just increase it and draw on down. You see over here I have it here. Okay, so that just depend on how you want it. Okay, yeah, let me just highlight it and delete it. Okay, now we are on our test 2. Of course, test 2 is on. Now we are basically on our test 2, and of course test 2 is self-explanatory. Okay, basically meant for typing. Okay, and just type in stuff like on your keyboard, just anything that you want to type. That one is it is self-explanatory. Okay, yeah. So what next we are going to be looking at this parallel dimensions 2. Okay, this is what that means, parallel dimension 2. Okay, yeah. So underneath it, let's click on the drop down arrow. We have horizontal or vertical dimension. So let me show you what that looks like. You see, we have vertical or you see, you can basically create it says vertical or horizontal. Okay, you see this line over here is facing at the left, while the other one is facing right. So you can basically draw 2 lines, okay, like facing opposite directions. So that is what that is basically meant for. Okay, yeah. So this join point, you can basically use it to join point of stuff. Let's drag it to this side. You see, yeah, that is what the this thing is basically meant for, to join 2 points. If you take a look at it, it says connect 2 points, connector connector. It is called connector. Okay, you can basically join edges of, let's say this one is not closed, and just use your your tools, connector tools, to just close it up like that. Just where I did this one. Okay, yeah, that is what that is basically meant for, to connect to an edge, to connect one stuff to another. Okay, yeah. That takes us to this next to, which is the shadow. Under the shadow, if you click up the drop down arrow, we have other options. We have contour, we have blend, we have distort, we have envelope, we have extrude, we have blur, shadow. Okay, so let me delete all of this so that I will be able to explain that one, because I really find that one's really helpful. Okay, and we are going to be going more deeper in them as time goes on in this same channel. Okay, yeah, we are going to be making use of them a lot in our design. Okay, yeah. So if I select, let me draw a rectangle so that you'll be able to see what that is meant for. If I draw my rectangle over here like this, and let's say I want let me draw another one over here. So let me say I want to let me take out the outline, the both of them. So Control Z, let me show you how to go off the outline. So let me say I'm having 2 objects like this. So if I select the both of them like this, I'll head over to my property bar. Like I said, this place is called our property bar. Okay, just take a note of that. And in our property bar, we have the outline pen tool. Okay, I'll click on the drop down arrow, select none to get rid of the outline. You can see the outline is no longer there. Okay, so if I select this one now, you can see, because the colors are the same, so it won't be visible. Because if I select a different color, of course you are going to be seeing them, like you are going to see the first one, then the next, and the other one at the bottom. If I put it at the same color like this, if I fill them with the same color. Yeah, basically you are not going to be seeing the only thing you are going to be seeing is the edges that differentiate them. Okay, so let me say I want to see this this particular first box at the top. I want to see it before the other one. Then I can basically apply a shadow to it to make it visible. Okay, you see that, it will make this the first one at the top pump up. Okay, to make it pump up like that. So you can basically use the shadow tool for like different purposes. Okay, yeah, don't worry if you don't understand this right now. We are going to be explaining it in more of our designs, okay, because you are going to be using a lot of it. Okay, so let that take us to contour tool. Let me delete this one so that we don't have it. So let me use this one to explain the contour tool. This is my contour tool. Okay, if I click on it right now, if you take a look at my property bar now, we have multiple options to to play around with. Okay, the first one says to center. How do I want to contour? How it's basically telling us how we want to apply the contour to this object that we selected. So if I set to center, of course it's going to apply it to the center. If I said inside contour, of course it's going to apply it inside the contour, inside the box. Then outside contour is basically outside the contour. Okay, let me say I want the contour the middle inside contour. Let me say I want inside contour. Whoa, for some reason that doesn't work. Okay, let me say so let me say I want outside contour. If I apply outside contour like this, it's going to look like this. Then you can come over to this place, then adjust it the way you want it. You can basically reduce the contour like that. Okay, you can just take it down till you are satisfied, depending on how you want it. Okay, all depends on how you want it. That is what the contour is meant for. You can basically use it for your design. Okay, and of course I've done tons of tutorial on it and how to use it. Okay, yeah, you can check out my previous design on how to use the contour tool. Okay, yeah, that is what the contour tool is meant for. And the next one we are going to be looking at is the blending tools. Okay, so let me delete this one and draw another one. Let me draw circle this time with the use of my ellipse tool. So let me say I have this yellow circle over here, and have and I want to duplicate it right from this side then to this side. So instead of me going through this process like duplicate, like repeat, then maybe I will not know when I'll make a mistake, like one will go out of line, then I will not even notice. So instead of that, to avoid that problem, I want it perfectly done. Can just hold down shift, then drag it to this side. Right click at the same time to duplicate it. Okay, you can drag with left click, then drag it to where you want to duplicate it to, and right click at the same time to duplicate it. So if I select my blending tools now, that is the blending tool over here. If I select it and click on this one, then drag it to this side, of course as you can see we have tons of it. Okay, we have a lot of it, like it does give us that this without going through the process of like doing it one after the other. Okay, yeah, so that is what that is basically meant for, and you can easily apply a gradient to this one. Okay, so I'm going to explain the gradient tool later. Okay, as we go into this tutorial right here. Okay, the next tool we are having right here is the distort tool. So if I select the subject now and I select my distort, so if I head over to my property bar, let me see I want it this way. So if I drag it like this, you can see is changing the shape of the rectangle. Okay, so let's say I want it this way. If I drag it like this, I can see what is happening. Can you see that? So let me say I want this one. I'll just basically play around with it. Okay, that is what the distort is basically meant for. So I just come over to my property bar and clear it off like that. Keep clearing until you get it, and until it comes to its normal shape. Okay, and let's see, the next we are going to be looking at is this our envelope tool. So you can just basically use it to like create this angle stuff like this. Okay, you can just use it to create angles. Even you can still apply it to text like that. So you can just use the curve like shapes like that, like this. Okay, yeah, that is what the envelope tool is meant for, to use it to customize whatever you want to customize. So over here we have this extrude tool that is basically meant for 3D stuff. Okay, if I drag it like this, if I drag it like this, you'll be seeing 3-sided. Okay, are you seeing that? It's basically meant for 3D stuff. Okay, don't worry yourself, we are going to be doing tutorial on this particular stuff. Okay, just make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you are yet to subscribe to the channel, please do subscribe now. Okay, that is what the extrude tool is basically meant for. Let's see the next one we have here, right? Okay, this one, it says block shadow. So if I try to apply a shadow to this one now, okay, let me draw a rectangle and apply it. Okay, if I draw a rectangle like this and I select my block shadow, if I try to apply it like this, you can see the block shadow. Okay, you can see what the shadow looks like. Okay, you can even use it to do some 3D stuff like this. Okay, it's looking like a 3D, looking more of 3D. Okay, yeah, but it is basically a shadow. Yeah, are you seeing that? It's looking like a big board, but it's not a big board. Yeah, so the next thing we are going to be looking at is this transparency tool, like to reduce the opacity of something. Okay, if I try to reduce the opacity of this side of the yellow, as you can see, that side of the yellow is no longer visible. Okay, if I want it visible, of course I'll go ahead and reduce it in this side. Okay, yeah, that is what the transparency tool is basically for, to reduce the opacity of something. Okay, let me draw on that one here and use the transparency tool. Let me say I don't want this yellow, is too shiny for me, so I can just basically use my opacity to my transparency tool to reduce the opacity. Are you seeing that? Did you see that? You can basically use it to reduce the opacity of something. Okay, that is what the transparency tool is meant for. And that takes us to the next tools. Okay, here we have a color eyedropper tool. So if let me draw something here so that I explain what the color eyedropper tool meant. Okay, if I pick my color eyedropper tool right here, if I try to select, let me say I want this color of this color over here, I want to apply it to, okay, let me change the color of this one. Let me change the color to this one, to black. Okay, so let me say I want to apply this color that I have on this circle to this shape that I have over here, like this black one over here. So without going through the process of like selecting the color, maybe at times the color you want to make use of is not even in your color palette. Okay, so you can just basically use the color eyedropper to sample the color from anything that you want to sample it from, then apply it to whatsoever you want to apply it to. Okay, that is the work of the color eyedropper tool. Okay, so the next tool we having underneath it is attribute eyedropper. Okay, what this does is, let me say we're having a gradient. Okay, let me apply a gradient to this one. Okay, I can use the opportunity to explain the gradient tool over here. So if I click on this drop down arrow like this, you can see the interactive fill tool is basically what is known as gradient. Okay, it's basically known as gradient. So if I select it like this, and let me say I want this side, this stuff that I drew like this over here, I want it to have two colors. I want this side over here to be this yellow, then I want this side over here to be like reddish stuff. Okay, so I will basically drag it like this. I seen that. So this side that I have white, I'll select it and select yellow color like this. Then this side I'll select it like this, make sure it's selected, then select my red color like this. I seen that. So that is the work of the gradient tool. It's called interactive fill tool, but people normally call it gradient. Okay, this is what gradient meant. Okay, when somebody says gradient, this is what gradient is. Okay, so what the color eyedropper tool, the other color eyedropper tool is meant for. Let me select it. I don't know what's wrong with my mouse. I think it's time I got on that one. So this attribute eyedropper tool see this attribute, I just explained this one, that to sample a color from something and apply it to whatsoever you want to apply it to. If the color is not on your color palette, okay, to sample a color from one thing and apply it to the other. But this attribute eyedropper 2, okay, you can basically select gradients like this gradient and apply it on that thing. But with the other one, you cannot do that with the other one. It's going to select one single color, okay. But with the help of this attribute eyedropper, you can basically select gradient from an object or element and apply it to the other one that you want to apply it to. As you can see, if I select this one now, are you seeing that gradient on this one? So let me try to bring it down like this, and you see what that does. Are you seeing that? Did you see that? Are you seeing the two colors on it? So you can use the this tool over here, like the attribute eyedropper, to sample a gradient from an existing project and sample it to the one you want to sample it without going through the process of selecting the colors again, okay. So that is what the attribute color eyedropper is meant for, okay. So over here I already explained what the interactive feed tool is meant for, that is the gradient, okay. That is what the gradient is basically meant for, okay. So let me draw something so that I'll be able to explain the rest of them. Let me draw something like this, let me take out the fill, okay. So I'm basically having two circles over here, and if I try to apply a color to this one, of course it's going to be applied, and if I apply it to the next one, it's going to be applied also. But what I want here is, I don't want this side of the color on this side. I want it on this little tiny space that I created over here, okay, this joint point that I have over here. So if I want the color in this side, and I don't want them to apply to the other side, like this place and this side, I want it on this particular spot, okay, I can basically use my smart fill, okay. I have my smart fill over here. I can basically use it to apply the color in this particular spot. Are you seeing that? Did you see that? Okay, can you just basically apply a color to anywhere you want on that particular spot, on that particular space, okay. Yeah, that is what that is basically for. So let me try to do it again. If I select my smart fill over here like this, if I select this one, as you can see, it is basically fed on that spot, on that particular spot, okay. It will fit himself to that particular spot, and you can use this as well to create a logo, okay. So let me delete that and let me show you what that looks like. Are you seeing it? Did you see this sign and this stuff like this? With the use of this smart fill, we were able to create this stuff like this. So I will just get rid of the outline in my toolbar, okay. Yeah, that is what the smart fill is basically meant for, okay. So let's say the next one we are having here is mesh fill, okay. So let's say I want multiple colors on this circle that I have over here. I want multiple colors on it. Let me say this side I want red, this ruby red, and over this side I want black, over this side I want white, over this side I want white, then not white, this color, and over this side I want another color, this yellow, okay. So on over this side again I want red like this, okay. You see, that is the work of the mesh tool, okay. It is right here. You can basically use it to fill multiple color, okay. This is what the colors looks like now, okay. So you can just basically use it to fill out stuff, okay, like give it a multiple color. That is what the mesh tool is basically meant for, okay. Yeah, and that comes to the end of this tutorial, and I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain in this video. If you have any problem concerning this one, just let me know in the comment section, so I will be explaining that in the next tutorial that I'm going to be doing, okay. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. see you in the next episode.